Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Versus. It's Friday. So what does that mean? That means that I talk on the internet all day with my friends about fun stuff. And today we're going to talk about some fun stuff. We got a lot of interesting topics. And as I adjust my camera, the things we're going to talk about today, some of them are the Book of Boba Fett. Some of them are Peacemaker. Some of them are Wolverine casting rumors and fan casting. We're going to talk about Moon Knight and much, much more. And Rebel Moon, another one, is the up-and-coming Snyder movie. So we're going to get into all that. But before I can talk about those things, I need to get Weasel and Curtis in the house. Let's see where they're at. Whoopsh. Hey, what's up, Curtis?
Hello. Kind of bugs me that I'm playing second fiddle to Weasel, but I get it. You know, he's a movie star.
I mean, he
he
is a movie star for sure. How's your day going, man?
Today's great. School's canceled due to weather, so I've been at home watching,
Partying
crap
it
all
up?
day. Yeah, taking a nap.
Nice.
It's been awesome. It's been amazing.
Awesome, man. Well, that's great. Well, we got a bunch of really fun movies and news and things going on. Before we jump into all that stuff, let's talk to our chat real quick. See who's in the house. What do we got over here? We got Jedi Master EJ is in the house. What's up, Jedi? My oldest is about to be 2. That's just a random out of context comment we'll throw up there.
21. Yeah, today's his son's birthday, and he just
sweet.
turned 14, but his oldest is 21.
Well, we need to put the comment about his oldest. It's his birthday, 14. What else we got going on in here? I've got the gray distinguish. Bobby is in the house. Her daughter turns 45 in 3 days. All right, and that's what we got so far. If you're in the house watching, shoot us a comment and say hello. Let's jump into our first topic today. Man, if you've been paying attention, anybody out there a fan of Zack Snyder? Anybody?
I don't think on this show. Our guys, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's exciting because if you know anything about Zack Snyder, they just started. They got dates for when they're going to start shooting Rebel Moon. Rebel Moon is a series, or it's not a series, it's a movie, but it's a treatment that he did for Star Wars, and it's pretty exciting. So we got Rebel Moon right there. Boris Kitt is a writer at The Hollywood Reporter who says he's got an exclusive with Zack Snyder, sets his next movie, sci-fi adventure Rebel Moon at Netflix. Snyder will direct, co-write with collaborators Shay Hatton of the Army of the Dead and Kurt Johnstad of 300. Plan is to start shooting early 2022. This is me growing up as an Akira Kurosawa fan, a Star Wars fan. It's my love of sci-fi and giant adventures, Zack Snyder says. Also, this story is set in motion when a peaceful colony on the edge of the galaxy is threatened by the armies of a tyrannical regent named Belisarius. Desperate, the colonists dispatch a young woman with a mysterious past to seek out warriors from the neighboring planets to help them make a stand. And additional info on that is the film is set in a peaceful colony this is Zack Snyder's words, set is filmed in a peaceful colony on the edge of the galaxy that finds itself threatened by armies of a tyrannical regent, Belisarius. They dispatch he said this already. I guess I just quoted the same thing twice. But anyway, this sounds super exciting, man. You're getting sci-fi, you're getting epic adventures, and you're getting samurai stuff. This is what George Lucas. He says he's doing a little tip of the hat to George Lucas. Also, this is basically where George Lucas was coming from in the first place. You know what I mean? He was
Absolutely, yes.
yeah. That's basically samurais Jedi's are samurais. So this is pretty
Mhm.
cool. I think it's hilarious to be like, oh, you don't like my treatment? You're not going to let me make a Star Wars movie? I'll just make my own and change it a little bit. So he's making a sci-fi adventure. We know from 300 he knows how to do epic. It's like so an epic space adventure. Holy crap. What do you think, Curtis?
No, yeah, I can't wait for this. I do. I like you said, the story is kind of what. Besides, besides the fact that it's a new Schneider movie, the story's kind of a draw because, yeah, he wanted to work for Star Wars, and like I think anybody would have been happy with that, and they said no, and he was like, "Well, fuck, this is a good movie. I'm not going to waste this." So, it'll be interesting to see how much it changes from what it was, or how if you can pick out, oh, he was obviously kind of thinking along these lines here and stuff like that,
Yeah.
or if it's he changes it so much you can't even really tell. Um, and you're right though, it is going to be a series of movies. I think this is going to be Rebel Moon Part One. Um,
Yeah. He's dude,
and
from what I've heard, he's like built out an entire universe. Like I
yes,
read an interview with his wife who said was it his wife? I might be mixing it up. It might have been his wife, but basically they said like that he's been going through, and he's all about the universe building, and he's been just like growing this entire universe. So he's like, okay, I'll build my old universe, and we all love the Snyderverse as far as DC goes. You know what I mean? Like, but
yeah,
I think it's really cool that he thinks in such detail and in such a grand scale, and I think this is going to be really cool. Like I'm a huge, I love comic book movies as much as the next guy, but I love sci-fi stuff a lot. And anytime you get something that's different than the same old things that I've been checking out my whole life, I'm excited for it. To me, I think the biggest thing that's going to be important on this movie is the cast,
mhm,
and which oh yeah, boom, we got her. She's in the cast. Sophia Butella is the only one that I've found that's cast for this movie,
okay,
and she's badass. She's man, I don't even have my notes with me on. Or do I roll with exciting adventures? Oh yeah, she was in The Mummy, but she's in Settlers. Was the show I was trying to think of. Settlers is I think it's on Paramount Plus, but it's basically a sci-fi movie where she's at a settlement on Mars, and she's awesome. Like she just has a charisma to her. I think she's going to be cool in this show. But what I was going to say before is that the cast is going to make this. I was thinking about it. I'm like, okay, what makes Star Wars? And I go, what makes Star Wars is the difference in cast. You know, I mean, it's like you have like the farm boy, and then you have the stuck-up princess, and then you
mhm,
have the smart-ass like arrogant guy, and then you have the but like and then you have like even C-3PO annoying Han Solo. It's just those interminglings, and I was started
right,
daydreaming, and I'm like, I hope he's able to bring that kind of like we only know one person that's going to be in this. Like he's going to have to
mhm,
really nail the cast. And then all of a sudden I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, wait a minute, this is Zack Snyder. I was like, I thought back to Dawn of the Dead, and
mhm, yeah,
there wasn't that
exactly,
much to that movie. That's what made that movie was that a bunch of people in the mall, but you have Ving Rhames as like the tough sheriff, and then you have the redneck guy
mhm,
who's the lead security guard. You have all these different characters that are so varied and different. I'm like, oh, he's already done that. You know what I mean? And I'm like, we know he can do badass shoot 'em up zombie movies. And then I was like, oh, that movie, that like not just the Dawn of the Dead, but the Army of the Dead. Like that cast was
right,
way fun and different. And then I was like, and then Army of Thieves, same. Like those characters are cool. I think we could do it. And then we don't even have to discuss Justice League. Those are different characters too. So it's like I think he got a reputation for making pretty movies that are like beautiful
Mhm.
aesthetically, but I like when you also look back and just ignore that. There's a lot of cool interminglings with the cast and conflicts and things, and that's what makes a movie. It's not just the space adventure. It's the people picking on each other and stuff like that. What do you think?
No, I agree. Like that's yeah. I think with casting, we really don't have to worry too much. Um, and with the freedom that he's gonna have, like that's the thing. He went and he did the DC stuff. And I think he wanted to play in that universe, but play freely. And obviously he couldn't. So now he's like, "Well, just build my own universe," and he's gonna, have fun in that. Netflix is letting him do it, and I think that's a very smart decision.
Hell yeah, I can't wait. I think it's gonna be a really cool show, um, or it'll be
I
like
think so too.
a lot of other Netflix things that it'll just be really really boring and lackluster. What do you think?
I don't think so. I mean, it's a possibility, but I don't think so. They've got plenty of other movies lined up for that. If you saw their preview drop or whatever,
Yeah. Dude, Zach's done a good job of delivering. You know what I mean? Like I think he's done a really good job. That's the curse
right?
of Netflix, though. Like it seems like they keep they keep making movies where it's like a familiar face, and then all of a sudden I'm like, this is the most lackluster thing I've ever seen. I'm like, why
Hmm.
did they do this again? And it just keeps happening over and over. So I see that a series is I'm good. Like I'm good with the series. Like I
Hmm.
believe in the series, but there's something about there is something about th- like Netflix movies that are like that keep just becoming lackluster. So
Hmm.
I don't believe Zach's going to do that to us. He's got a good fan base and yeah, sci-fi adventure. Zack Snyder, samurais. What? Come
Yeah.
on, man! This is going to be a badass.
Well, he hadn't. I'm trying to think. He hasn't done a sci-fi yet, has he? I don't think he has. I
No,
mean, yeah.
I was
So this would
wondering.
be yeah.
It'd be crazy if this was if like this was in space, but it was in the same universe of is Army of Thieves and Army of the Dead like zombies in space? Like, are they gonna because that they kind of insinuate that those are space zombies? You know what I mean? Like, it would be crazy if that was a race of something in that movie that made its way to Earth. You know?
Yeah, and I know there's gonna be the next one's gonna be Planet of the Dead or something like that.
That's what I'm
And
talking about.
I think there was an interview or something where they were asking if Rebel Moon was gonna be in the same universe, and he was just kind of like, I don't know, maybe, like, you know, sure.
in a
So
in
yeah,
a
it's gonna be good.
in a galaxy far, far away. Yeah. What do you guys think about Rebel Moon? Huh? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Alrighty, tell us in the comments. Let's move on to some other news. In
All
other
right.
news, we got our boy Ric Flair, Nature Boy Ric Flair. After taking
Yeah.
some time apart, Wendy and I have decided to go our separate ways. Please respect our privacy, our families during this time. I will love and cherish you forever together. This is a sad thing, dude. This guy's been married like 5 times.
Yes, I think that I'm pretty sure that's his fifth wife. That they said.
Man, what do you? Well, first off, you want to give a shout out to Ric Flair?
Yeah, the Nature Boy uh, still got it. He's got to be about a bazillion years old by now. He's there's also some of the issues were infidelity and stuff like that, and then there's some it was like sexual harassment stuff going on with him apparently
Oh,
too. I don't, but like it. Come on, it's could you. Is that out of the realm for Ric Flair? Like, does anybody like hear that story and go, "What?" You know,
woo!
uh, like great wrestler and stuff. One of the funniest things about him is so if you don't know, when guys get they call it busted open on their forehead, it's an old wrestling trick. They have like a little piece of a razor blade, and it's in the tape on their wrist or something, and they'll fall down and literally like cut their forehead open with this little razor blade because the forehead bleeds a lot, but you're not gonna die from a forehead. There's no organs there. It's a big old piece of bone behind it. You're gonna be okay. And it would be so funny. He had done it so much that, like, whenever he came back to wrestling in the 90s or in 2000s and stuff, he'd just be kinda walking around, and a slight breeze would, like, hit him, and he'd, "Oh, he's busted open! Oh my god!" Like, his forehead skin was just, like, paper thin, like, from cutting it all these years, and he'd just get busted open if anybody looked at him crosswise, like, it was just crazy.
I thought you were gonna say he had a giant scar, like a giant
Oh,
bunch
he
of like
did,
like
yeah.
like
He's
scar
got
tissue up there.
That's all it is. Yeah, it's just scar tissue that's continually healing, and it's like just like the smallest thing makes him like, "Oh, he's bleeding everywhere."
Oh, that's good.
So,
Yeah. Jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, son of a gun. Woo! Yes, sir.
the nature boy. Sorry, Rick, you might make it work for number 6.
Rick, don't do it,
So
man. You just gotta you just gotta call it a day, man. Sometimes you just gotta just call it a day. That's a My dad had a friend that used to say, "There he is." My dad was married 3 times. He'd be like, "There he is, the man who likes to split his fortune 3 times." Yeah, yeah, dude. You just gotta hang it up sometimes. You gotta
Mhm.
know when to fold them. Well, let's get into some Marvel news while we're at it.
Alright.
What do we have anything? What do you guys think about Ric Flair? Everybody, give me a whoo! Uh, yes, sir. Raj had more woo than I did. He wins flawless victory. LOL. Yes, sir. All right. Here we go. Marvel news. Man, we have an up and coming Moon Knight series starring Oscar Isaac. Holy crap. Boom. Oh, look, we got Moon Knight in the
Ah,
house.
there we go, there we go.
Yeah,
What happened?
Moon Knight's in the house, buddy. Um, man, I'm excited for this show. You know what? I don't know a lot about Moon Knight, and I'm not embarrassed to say it because I'm actually excited because that's something I have to look forward to. I get to learn about all about this character, and whereas some of them, you go in, you already know what's going to happen. Sometimes, you know what
Mhm,
I mean,
mhm.
and it's like this for me is super exciting. So, how are you feeling about Moon Knight's like creeping around back there?
He is. Hey, man, I love country, just settle down, settle down. Uh,
uh,
I like I'm excited, like, it's not there yet, but I'm getting close to, like, No Way Home excitement for this. I hope it
oh,
doesn't let me down. I'm a, pretty big Moon Knight fan,
they
and
they
he's
s-
a
they
under
say
the radar character, like you were saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off, man.
No.
They say that you might get a Moon Knight trailer during the Super Bowl, is what we're hearing. Um, but why don't you talk to me since I don't know about much about this? Like, what do you think we can expect? And maybe it's some talk about some villains. I had you send me a list of villains that you think might
Mhm.
pop into the show. I'm gonna pop that up, and then I'm gonna give you full screen and let you talk about what you think might happen and who could pop into the show because I think that would be fun for anybody at home that doesn't know anything about Moon Knight and what they could expect. Why don't you give us that? So let's
That
get
sounds great.
sounds good. Here's that list of villains. Boom. You hit me with Sleepwalker, Punisher, Sleepwalker twice, Clint. That's some shoddy work. Uh, now it's fixed. Sleepwalker, Morbius, The Hood, Mephisto, Midnight Suns, Blade. The list goes on. Hit me
Mhm.
with some. Drop us some wisdom on us, Curtis. Boom.
Yeah, so Moon Knight, is a darker character in the Marvel universe, okay? Um, and what's great about him is what's great and what's not great about him. So he is the writers throughout the years couldn't weren't sure if they could get him right, or they kinda series kept getting picked up and dropped and stuff like that, so they had to pick up the scraps and kinda move on, which is like, ended up being great idea-wise, but, they had to kinda figure something out. But along with that territory comes a lot of team ups, so, before we get into the bad guys, I really think Blade's gonna his first appearance is gonna be in Moon Knight. Um, if you don't know about the Midnight Suns, they're like, the Avengers for, um, supernatural stuff in the Marvel Universe, and it's a bunch of anti-hero guys, Moon Knight being one of them. and Blade being one of them. And Punisher, although he's not really supernatural, he's just that fits that character type, is in there a lot. So I could see maybe Barenthal even making a small like peak in the series, almost like what they did with Hawkeye. Um, I definitely think Blade will show up in there though. I think it's going to be um, the beginning of the Midnight Suns. Supposedly, Midnight Suns isn't supposed to be till Phase 5, but a lot of what they're going to do, I think it might lead straight into Multiverse of Madness. A lot of what they're going to do involves the Darkhold in the Midnight Suns period, and that's what Wanda Maximoff has right now. That's giving her all her new powers. So it's going to lead into that. So I could easily see Blade and Punisher jumping in there. For probably a very small cameo for Punisher if they have figured out the Barenthal thing yet. But Blade definitely. Now, bad guys wise, Nightmare was going to be the big bad they thought for Multiverse of Madness a while back. They kept talking about Nightmare. Um, I don't. Apparently, they don't think that now. Obviously, Wanda's going to be the big bad. They don't think that Nightmare's going to be. But I could see him popping up in a Moon Knight series, especially one that's dealing so much with insomnia and stuff like that. One of Moon Knight's biggest villains is Morpheus, who is like a dream demon type of guy, and he's got all these issues. So there's that insomnia thing could really wrap around there. Sleepwalker, yes, and yeah, that leads into Sleepwalker. Sleepwalker is actually a hero, but he's probably like a C or D level character whenever in his own book. But whenever he does team ups, it works really well. He's one of those guys that could easily. Um, no, Wesley Snipes isn't playing Blade. Mahershala Ali is, but there's a fan petition that was saying that they wanted Blade to be the new Whistler, which I think would be awesome, or Wesley Snipes to be the new Whistler.
Mm,
Um,
that would be awesome.
that would be great. But yeah, Sleepwalker could come in there. He's interdimensional. His species is from the dimension of sleep, and so he can only come out whenever his alter ego guy falls asleep. So sometimes he'll be like, winning a battle or something like that, and the guy that he's inside of wakes up and he just disappears. But he's a pretty cool character, and he's a hero. But you don't necessarily have to play him like that. And he just actually, you can see from the picture, he just shot Timothy Oliphant on Book of Boba Fett. So he's already making the rounds on Disney Plus. But the villains would be we I think we'll see Nightmare. Um, always Mephisto. I was gonna say just have the Mephisto graphic ready, period, because um, we could always see Mephisto. But what's interesting that I was thinking too is Moon Knight did fight Doom a good bit, and I could see since Doom's one of Doom's big powers is he's like science and magic. I could see them putting in not Doctor Doom, but Victor Von Doom as if he's learning something. Um, at the museum or something like that, and having a very small role there, or at least they mention him or something like that. Because if I think Fantastic Four is supposed to end Phase 4, and I could see them building up to a Doom guy there, or Doom cameo there. And the Hood. The Hood is probably one of the best Marvel characters or new characters in the past, 20 years or something like that. He's a villain, and he is just a hoodlum that happened upon this magical hood and boots and stuff, and got all these awesome powers, and just is such a great character. Like it ended up being Dormammu, who was, Doctor Strange's villain. So I really think like this is going to lead into Multiverse of Madness somehow. Was within the Hood, and that's how he was getting the powers. And but he's such a great character. He's going to come in sooner or later, and he's just this hoodlum that becomes a kingpin of crime, basically using the powers that he found to just wreck shop on superheroes and recruit all these other supervillains. He's such a great character.
Do you think
Um,
you think he's going to get in his hood and Doctor Strange's cape are going to get into a brawl?
uh, might as well, damn it! Like, yeah, that's a good point. I didn't realize it. Like, yeah, because Doctor Strange's cape is sentient as well.
It's funny how many cool avenues that we get now. I love that the B teamers are getting some spotlight. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
for so long we've just had like the main guys getting comic book shows and movies made about them, and now they're like, okay, we've spent all of the well-known characters, now we get all the unknown characters, and that's
Mhm.
more exciting to me. Like that's cool. It's like
Yeah,
even
and
I was gonna say even Star Wars. I'm like, give me some side characters. Like I know all I need to know about the main characters. Like, give me some side characters. What were we gonna say?
no, yeah, and I was gonna say too, like it's good too because like there's like people have wanted Moon Knight to be good for so long, and it wasn't until like the 2000s he actually like got a steady writer and got a steady team and started becoming good. And like that's the thing, he would be an easy one to reboot without changing a whole bunch and just make as a like probably better for TV than he had been in the comics character.
Right.
Like I said, with all the switches and stuff, and like it never quite took off until about the early 2000s. Um, and like this would be perfect for him as a new way to like just get a whole new fan base. Like I could see him blowing up, huge, but because he's already got a fan base, and then just once people watch it and see the dark themes and stuff like that, and um,
And
I think it's gonna be great.
and that's what happens when you have characters that have like that have cult followings. It's
Mhm.
like Deadpool. Like everyday Joes didn't know who Deadpool
Right.
was. You
No.
know what I mean? And then all of a sudden becomes cool because it's the unknown character. And I'm like, everybody knows Hawkeye, but Deadpool. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever. And I think that's cool. Like I think that's
Mhm.
gonna make this character blow up. Plus, look how cool he looks. You know what I mean? He's just cool looking. Like
Yeah.
well,
And
he's kind of a creeper, but he looks damn cool.
mhm.
Um,
You're freaking me out.
yeah, cut it out, Moon Knight. Yeah, well, that's cool. I'm excited. It I think we might get a new trailer for that and Doctor
Mhm.
Strange 2 during the Super Bowl. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, there's rumors that the Ethan Hawke
Mhm.
character might be Dracula. Um, but in the Dracula in the Marvel universe. Um, but I don't know. I think I've got a
Do,
better idea who he is,
do
and
you
it's
know the character or the guy Arthur Harrow?
yeah, I think
Does that
you're
mean anything to you? Because that's who Ethan Hawke is playing as far as the casting is billed. I don't know if
yeah, and I
Arthur.
think well, that's the thing. He's not a big one. Because I think this is mostly going to be Bushman. His main villain has to be in there because they're going to do an origin story. I would assume at
It
some
is.
point.
It's Loic Mabanza is playing Bushman, so that's in there.
Yeah, so that's Moon Knight's, like, main, villain, but, the guy that, Ethan Hawke's playing is a bigger deal, but was not I think he's gonna play, like, the Sun God, the guy who, becomes, like, the Sun Knight or Sun King or whatever, um, and to me, he wasn't kinda like, "Eh," so I think, he's gonna be, like, the bad, but it's gonna have everything else, and, like, almost like a mystery story that we solve along with, um Oscar Isaac to figure out, what exactly is going on with Moon Knight, you know.
Yeah. Well,
So,
for uh, Ethan Hawke's a fantastic actor,
oh yeah.
and yeah, it's going to be good. And somebody was talking about something where Dracula owed Moon Knight money, and he busted into his house to get his money or beat or something like that. Were you on when I
Reese,
was talking about that?
yeah, Reese was telling us. First, he was like, "Yeah, he whooped Doctor Doom's ass for $200."
Yeah,
I
it
was
wasn't
like,
Doctor Doom.
"What?"
It was Dracula.
And,
Well,
but then,
maybe
anyway,
that's yeah. Maybe that's Ethan Hawke, and he's gonna go. It'd be really funny if that happened in the show. Give me my $200.
give
Like
my $200.
busts in there
And
for $200.
yeah, Moon Knight's literally like a billionaire, like Batman. He's like, "I want my money, bitch."
Hilarious. Oh man, well, there's been some interesting casting rumors lately about
Mhm.
about Wolverine. Who should play him? Yeah.
Oh.
Oh man, who should play Wolverine? Who should play Wolverine? Well, guys, let us know in the comments if you're excited about Moon Knight. I forgot to say that, but back to Wolverine. Who should play Wolverine? I have my personal thoughts about this. I was watching Army of Thieves the other day, and I saw this guy, and I'm like, "Hey, when did Hugh Jackman do this movie?" I'm like, "Dude, that's like the young man's Hugh Jackman," and like, I'm like, "Dude, that guy could totally be Wolverine."
Mhm.
I mean, totally. I mean, look, and I wasn't the only one who thought so. There's some people on Reddit threw that collage together, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. And I started thinking about that, but I started thinking about it, I'm like, you know what, dude? The assignment isn't to who makes the best Hugh Jackman. It's who makes the
Yeah,
best
right.
Wolverine. You know what I mean? And a couple of people were like, "Dude, that guy's too tall. He's 6 foot tall. He's too tall." And I'm like, "Dude, Hugh Jackman's 6'2", so shut it. You know, he's shorter than Hugh
Yeah.
Jackman." But it's interesting. You know what I mean? Like we all love this character. We want this thing to be cast perfect, and I feel like it doesn't matter who it is. You've got some huge shoes to fill with Hugh Jackman, and I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to accept anybody else in the role. Like I really don't. I'm like it's almost like just retire that role. Nobody can play him, you know? Like it's over. But some people
Well
Oh, what do you think about that, Chris?
well, I mean, the it would almost be better because that's the thing, Hugh Jackman did such a great job, and whenever they cast him, I was like, "Oh, who's this? Screw that, that's not Wolverine, blah, blah, blah," and he won me over completely. So he like, that is the role for him. It would like, that guy, is the first thing I thought whenever I saw Army of Thieves as well. But, like, they almost need to go in a different direction so that it's not, you know what I mean? Just to get away from the Hugh Jackman thing. They almost like, they need to bring him back for a cameo in Doctor Strange 2,
That's what I'm
and
talking
then,
about.
yeah, go in a different direction, like, that's but that's the thing, the other guy, Egerton or whatever, he can't, he's not that far off from Hugh
We
Jackman either. They
we
need
haven't
to
talked about him yet. Look at this, gang.
oh,
There's a lot of people that think, including Matthew Vaughn, who was a director on X-Men, a former X-Men director. I think Taron Egerton could do it in his sleep. And if you look at him, he's got that furrowed brow.
mhm.
And if you've seen him when he was younger, you would say, hey, I remember him in The Kingsman. Uh, could he do that? I don't know, because you think of him as fresh-faced, but he's 32. And I could tell you, in 4 or 5 years, he's going to be 35. And the older he gets, the burlier he's going to get, and also makeup. But, but, uh,
Yeah.
here we can see he's ripped. I don't know if he's as angry as he needs to be in there, but
Or his hair, he's definitely not as hairy as he needs to be. But,
yes,
well,
but
look,
but look at
Jackman when
this.
they're
But look at this one. I'm like, okay, he's got the right shaped face and head. I'm like, okay, I can buy that. What do you think, Curtis?
I mean, yeah, I mean, he could pull it, like, once I saw him, I was like, "Okay, that might make sense too," but, yeah, I just needed I don't know, like, yeah, like, pick some, little short, stocky guy that's hairy that, like, that's not necessarily famous, like, you know, that happens to live in Austin, Texas, and has a YouTube show, like,
Yeah, they need somebody a
you
lot
got the
younger than me. I can,
you know
dude. There's anybody's on my Facebook. I got a pretty good Wolverine photo going. But if you thought anybody thinks that Taron Egerton can't do the role, I'm not saying he can or can't. I don't know, man. Also watching Stuart Martin. He was kind of like a dude bro in that movie. So I'm like, I don't feel like I can picture you doing the Wolverine role. But anybody's having
Yeah,
problems picturing Taron Egerton, look at this. Tell me, he's not just right for that role. I mean, tell me he's not perfect. Come on now. I mean, yes, that's right. Take it in, guys. Take it in. All right. Uh-oh, I lost Curtis. Don't worry, he's coming back. Nope. Oh, there he is. No, I actually lost him. Okay. Curtis. Where at... I gotta go back one. That's super weird. There he is. I don't know why I wasn't able to get you in this other... But it's good to have you back, dude.
Hey, welcome. That Taron Egerton just
You spontaneously
stopped the
combusted.
internet.
Yeah, you broke the internet with that one. That's right, guys. Take it in. That's right. That's right.
Bum, bum, bum.
You're like, he looks like a troll. I think you're a troll.
When Taron Egerton doesn't feel good about himself.
When I don't feel very good about myself, I fuck with people on the internet that I don't even know that well because it makes me feel better. Ooh, it makes me feel better. But the dopamine, it doesn't even last that long. And now the dopamine's gone. It's like we were doing requests.
There you go, Taron.
It's like we were doing requests. That's right. Well, I'm willing to give anybody a chance. That's right. What do you guys think about this fan casting, huh? What do you think? What do you think? Let us know in the comments, and let's go on to the next topic, which is... Uh-oh. Boom, 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 boom. Yes, sir. Filoni is Star Wars glue. Filoni is Star Wars glue, guys. Filoni.
So now, who is Filoni? Explain to me.
That's what happens to people who don't know who Filoni is. You don't know who Dave Filoni is? I will explain it. I will explain it to you. Dave Filoni, I'm sure you've been hearing a lot of his name. Oh, Dave Filoni, blah, blah, blah. Dave Filoni is a artist. He did animation and things like that, and he worked on a lot of stuff in animation, and he got a job with Lucasfilm and went and worked for George Lucas. And it's really funny when they called him about the job, he thought it was a practical joke. Because he had some guys that would tease him and stuff that were in the same company that he worked for. And oh, thanks, Raj. Story time with Clint Baker. That's right. And so anyway, so what's funny is when they called him for the job, he thought it was a prank call from his guys that he works with. And so and he's like, yeah, hey, everybody knew he was a complete Star Wars dork. So like, hey, we're calling from Lucasfilm. He's like, yeah, okay, cool. Hey, nice of you to call. And they're like, yeah, we were wondering.
That's cute.
George Lucas wants you to come in to talk to him. Oh, that's great. Of course he does. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, so can you come in? He's like, oh, yeah, sure, of course, And then all of a sudden he realizes about halfway through it, he's like, oh, wait, is this real? And they're like, yeah, can you come in? And he's like, yeah. And so he goes and he ends up going in and ends up sitting down with George Lucas and meeting him and ends up working for him. He's a talented guy. He ended up he's worked on animated Star Wars stuff for years. And he did Clone Wars. He worked on stuff with him where George Lucas basically took him under his wing and taught him storytelling George Lucas style, and said, yeah, we don't need storyboards, we're doing this and just and also let him do some things. Like he's the one who thought up Ahsoka Tano. He also George Lucas, he would be like, hey, what if we did this? And then he would be like, you can't, because because of this. Like he knows all of the continuity and all the things, and he's such a huge Star Wars dork that it was like, oh, that's right, okay. You know, George Lucas would forget stuff that Dave Filoni remembers. You know what I mean? Like he's
Yeah,
a
yeah, okay.
super
All
Star
right,
Wars
cool.
nerd. So when he ended up going in with Favreau and working on this, he comes from animation. He'd never directed live action or anything. He'd only done animation and stuff. So he's now stepped into the world of writing in live action and directing in live action and seeing how live action's made. And it's visual storytelling, but
Right.
it's a different way of doing it. And you know, granted, I'm sure they got the greatest cinematographers ever, and he's got all the resources around him to do a good to win. You know what I mean? And he's telling stories, but he even admitted he's like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, so I'm glad Jon Favreau's here. Like, you know, he's like, I know how to tell stories. I know all about Star Wars, and everyone bounces everything off. There's another guy whose job is a continuity expert, basically, but they kind of figured out like, hey, Filoni knows what's cool with the new and the old. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
he's kind of he got made the creative. We'll call it creative director. He's basically in
Mhm.
charge of the how they proceed with Star Wars, and he's
So he's like the Feige of Star Wars.
kind of, yeah,
Yeah.
kind of. Uh, Kathleen Kennedy is in charge of everything, but they now that he's heavily involved. And the other thing is that he is like straight from under George Lucas's wing, so he gets it better than anyone, basically.
Okay.
And he gets the new stuff too, and it's kind of cool because a lot of the things that were done animated, uh, their characters are different. They have nothing. They're new characters. It's a new world, and all of a sudden now he's like gluing everything together, which is why I called him the glue. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, he is like totally glued everything
Yeah.
together. So you have these characters that are like Ahsoka Tano, Cad Bane, you know, Thrawn, just all these characters now that are starting to come in, and that were in Rebels and were in Clone Wars, and now we're starting to see them. And so, holy smokes! And if you saw Cad Bane on the last episode, it
Yeah.
was so good. Like, it was so awesome.
Yeah.
That is such a great episode, and it's so cool because I thought, like, holy cow, this Bryce Dallas Howard episode is so fun and so good. It's not going to get any better than this. And then, like, Filoni's like, hold my beer, let's do this. He hunkers down he pulls down his hat and goes to work, and he's like, all right, and there he is behind you, Curtis. But he's like, yeah,
Hey, Filoni.
yeah, it's super cool. And like, man, and like we could talk about the whole episode, but I
Yeah.
wanted to. Oh, let's see, Filoni glue. It's all connected. That's right, Jedi Master EJ. I made that glue meme. I'm gonna put it give it a Star Wars or like a star background and share that later, so you can share that for me. I'll try and get that viral. But yeah, wish his hat was a little bigger. Totally. That's what everybody says. Are you talking about Filoni's or Cad Bane's? But I wanted to talk a little bit
Both.
about
Both.
a little bit about the tech and stuff that they use.
Okay.
I was talking about this earlier. Like, it's really interesting, and I went a little into this on small screen, but we're on Versus right now, so I'm going to say it again. It's really interesting what's been going on with AI and the ability to simulate things. And I can sell a voice profile of my own voice to somebody, and then they could sell on the cheap, because like when you're doing voiceover, when you're buying an ad, say I need somebody to read an ad for some pop-up or something, pop-up video, you go on Fiverr or something because you're doing it on the cheap. Sometimes people, to get it done cheaply, will do something, and it's a synthesized voice. But they have profiles now to where they can make it sound just like me. The cadence is a little bit weird because it's a robot reading the sentence, so it's like Siri reading it. It's better than that, but they could do my voice. They could do Curtis's voice. They can do anybody's voice. It's pretty cool. Like, wow, they can do that now. And they can do that with Mark Hamill's voice because that's what they have done. But the difference is now, instead of it just being an AI that is reading that, they can do sound replacement to where I could act out a scene and read lines, and then they could just put re-speechers, what it's called. They can do that, and then just make it sound like Mark Hamill. So anybody who can behave like Luke Skywalker, like 3PO, where can he be? You know what I mean? 3PO, come in, where can he be? I wanted to go to Tashi Station to pick up power converters. Anybody that can act like that, they can put Mark Hamill's voice and like you sound just like him. So it's pretty cool. Like that, this technology's got weird. But I'll show you. I made a little video where I went on their website, Respeecher, the people that did this, because I read an article with the VFX guy for Book of Boba Fett, and I saw that they used Respeecher, so I went and looked it up. And check this out. I made this video. It's pretty short, but you're going to see me clicking on different samples, reading the same line, and it's different voices. But they just did one take, and then they just put the different voice profiles on it so you can hear how it sounds like a different human being. But if you listen to the nuance and the cadence, it's the same read. It's just several voices. So let's check it out. So this is Respeecher. This is the technology that's used to redo Mark Hamill's voice in The Mandalorian, like Luke Skywalker. Basically, they can take all of his old dialogue and make a profile of his voice. And then anyone could talk, really. You would have the cadence would be different. So you'd need somebody that kind of gets how Luke talks and could impersonate him a little to get the cadence right. But basically, it takes the quality of the voice and can replace it and reuse it. There's a similar technology in guitar amps. You can make a guitar amp profile, and it doesn't matter if you're playing through a Mesa Boogie or a Marshall or whatever. You can simulate that, and this is kind of the same thing. They've figured out how to do this on voice. There is also AI that can read and use people's profiled voices like this, and you can have virtual voiceover, which you can still hear the difference on virtual voiceover because it's having to do a robot voice and figure out the cadence. But in the case like this, where you get humans figuring out the cadence and doing the impersonation, if you will, you just change the quality of their voice. So I'm gonna click on these, and these it's the same script, and they just switched profiles. And you know, I don't know if Respeecher calls them profiles. That's what they do in the guitar world. I'm a musician, so that's how I am trained. So I'm just using that terminology. But anyway, let's check this out. This is pretty cool. Watch this.
All right. Just please hear me out. Respeecher is a voice cloning tool for discerning professionals. That's what it is.
Okay, now check this one out. Here's the same thing.
Hear me out. Respeecher is a voice cloning tool for discerning professionals. That's what it is.
Okay, now check this one out. Completely different.
All right. Just please hear me out. Respeecher is a voice cloning tool for discerning.
You get the idea. I'm going to scroll way down. They get a whole bunch of voices and stuff. I went to their website just to check it out, and I was like, oh, how does this work? Let's try Tristan.
All right. Just please hear me out. Respeecher is a voice cloning tool for discerning professionals.
Okay, let's try Xavier.
All right. Just please hear me out. Respeecher is a voice cloning tool.
And it's basically, it knows. It can figure it out. Well, Laura, that one's different.
All right. Just please hear me out. Respeecher is a voice cloning tool
just please
for
hear me out.
discerning professionals.
You go crazy listening to this over and over. But, I mean, it's amazing. Like,
Now, with Respeecher, you can do a lot of weird things with your voice.
Okay, now let's try this one.
Now, with Respeecher, you can do a lot of weird things with your voice.
And I wish they had Luke Skywalker on here so I could say, now with Respeecher, you do a lot of strange things with your voice. And that was not a very good impression. But you get the idea. It's amazing technology. And this just means we'll be able to do all kinds of cool stuff. With deepfake technology in this, man, you'll have Star Wars forever. Star Wars forever. That's what I'm talking about. Wasn't that far out? So I apologize. I repeated basically what I said right before the video. Once it was in the video, I could have saved y'all a few minutes. But anyway, I thought that was super awesome. So you have this amazing audio technology that they're using on his voice that makes Luke Skywalker possible, because that's a huge part. You can't have a as badass as he is. You can't have a burly old Mark Hamill doing young Luke Skywalker. Oh yes, you can. Yeah, there you can use that. It's super cool. And then, which also means you can have James Dean movies, Marilyn Monroe movies. You could have anything. Grand Moff Tarkin. You can have you can have his voice. They just have to sample in a whole bunch of his lines before. So Peter Cushing. So it's amazing. And then let's look at if y'all don't know, in case you're from I might have even said this on this video, so I'm not even gonna say it. In case you don't know what deepfake technology is, I'm gonna play this quick video for you. Yeah, Jedi Master EJ's right. They should have a Matthew McConaughey one. Holy crap. Check this out. And we've all seen deep fakes. I mean, they have apps. You could do it on your phone where you can do a deep fake. But this is one just to give, if in case there's somebody living out on an island who's never seen a deep fake before. This is Obama's face on Morgan Freeman, and this is not Hollywood caliber deep fake, but I mean, even this is like, wow, how do they do that? It changes expressions. It can do all that. Yes, it can. And so that mixed with the re-speecher, holy smokes, man, we're going to have some amazing things coming in the future. And what's insane is if you think back to how much the technology changed from last season of Mandalorian to this Book of Boba Fett, the quality is just going to keep getting better and better and better. Yeah, and for those who didn't get to see the Book of Boba Fett, like, look at Mark Hamill in that. Like, the difference between last season and this season, look at that. And he's acting, and the sun in his hair, and he's acting with Ahsoka, and it's like, holy crap. It's so good. And I kept waiting for that Uncanny Valley reface. It's so much fun to mess with. I'll have to check that out. Dude, I was like so blown away. And I explained earlier on the small screen, but for those of you who don't know, the Uncanny Valley, for any people that are going to rewatch this later, I know you guys and the 6 of you that are on here probably already know what the Uncanny Valley is, but there's a weird thing where we know, I mean, there's so many little nuances that we see in things, from reflections to shadows to the sparkle in somebody's eye, to even just the recognition, the things that we do with our faces and eye contact and everything else. The Uncanny Valley is a little area between looking completely fake and looking completely real, where our brain believes it and doesn't believe it at the same time. They're like, is that real? No, it's not real. It is real. It's real. And you get creeped out. And there's times where I've seen some robots that are doing facial movements, and you can hear the robot voice, but it almost starts looking real, and it gets creepy. Well, we all know robots are creepy, but like when you see that, that's the Uncanny Valley. And there's something about that. When we all saw last season of Mandalorian, and we saw Luke, it looked real, but it also looked fake, and it wasn't quite believable. It was almost there. Then you saw that deep fake thing that Shamook did, and it looked even better. But there's a couple of moments where it's like, okay, I could see it there, but half of the time, it's like it's a real guy. I couldn't believe how good Luke Skywalker looked in this. Like, I believed it a lot of the time, and enough to where I was like, dude, they could do a show if they wanted to. I don't think they need to, but it's like it's crazy. What do you think about that, Curtis?
Well, the only thing is he wasn't whiny enough. You kind of hit it on the head a little bit earlier.
Dude,
but other than that,
by the time he shows up in Jedi, he's lost all of that. His balls dropped by that point.
But what's interesting about this is, so like you said, that they could make Star Wars stories forever, and that's awesome. But at the same time, and if it hasn't come up yet, I'm really surprised, and it's coming. But who gets paid? So are you going to have to, contract wise, say, okay, well, so you're going to use my image in perpetuity forever and my voice in perpetuity forever, or does the studio own it once it's recorded and stuff like that? There's a lot of legal stuff coming, because if you if something bad happens to you, and Disney's making all this money off of some character that you made, and your family's like poor and broke down. It's like, well, wait a minute, what's going on here? You you get royalties from that one movie maybe, but then all the other movies that include your face and your likeness, like that's going to be a whole different thing. Like, because yeah, I mean, I can see my great grandchildren watching Mark Hamill on some show when he's been dead for 50 years.
Dude, I can get this might be meta. I don't know. What about this? What if they sample the Luke Skywalker from episode 6 of Book of Boba Fett and say it was a different voice actor with Mark Hamill's profile, his voice profile, but the nuance and the cadence was another guy. Say it was Clint Baker.
Sam
was,
Donaldson. Yeah, okay.
We'll say it was Clint Baker. And so I acted it out. And then in the future, they take samples of that, and I could say, hey, but it's my cadence or my pitch that also is in the new profile. So do me and Mark Hamill share? I don't know. And then there's another guy after that. Okay.
But and that's the point. And so that's what's getting scary too, is because then they're going to go, well, why are we paying all these humans? We don't even need them anymore. And they're just going to make these freaking movies without actors and actresses and voice actors and voice actresses because they're unnecessary. Like there'll always be I'm not. We're talking way down the road. There'll always be actors and stuff like that, but like if streaming and movies and everything is only about repeating the same properties over and over and over again, and they can do that without getting the actors involved because they own the rights and then they own the clips and the voice profiles, they can keep these IPs rolling in dough forever without paying anybody anything. It's that's kind of scary to me.
We're gonna still have lawyers in the future, dude. They'll be paying. If somebody's making money, there's gonna be lawyers getting their money.
You're right, but Disney has literally changed public domain law like twice because they don't want Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse should be in public domain, but they've literally changed the Supreme Court changed the law twice.
They'll be like, "Here's too much money. Leave me alone. I'm Disney. Get out of here." Yeah, it is a crazy thing, and I could tell you too. There's a huge within the voiceover community and stuff. I'm in a lot of groups and things, and you get huge drama with people worrying about like, should I even stay in this business because the robots are going to come take my job? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a matter of time. But the robots, they have a hard time. They have a hard time putting the human touches on this.
Yes.
But that's now. Like in 10 years, I don't know, man. The nuance might get the AI is getting
it's going to catch up.
And here's the deal: is I think before not, you're going to end up with people that know how to edit the software really well. That it's like let's say with LegalZoom.com, you can get all of your legal things taken care of immediately. And then that was silly. And then they'll be like, with LegalZoom.com, you can get all of your legal things taken care of immediately. And then we're like, hey, that was pretty close. And the second one was a robot, but they're like, when you're like, hey, we want it to be quirkier, you get taken care of immediately, or whatever. And like, there'll be some guy that's like, who's producing this stuff and can look and be like, oh, that needs to go up in pitch, and just knows how to do it, and he can go and then he fixes it, and then it's like, okay, now it's done. You needed the human touch, but the human's sitting behind a keyboard. He's not the performer who has to do it, who has to read it 3 times. It's just like the AI reads the script and does it with Clint's profile. But they already have things where I can sign up and sell my voice stuff, and anything they do, I can get. You can either buy you out or you get a percentage and stuff. It's weird. It's a whole new game, and it's getting interesting. But you want to talk about a bunch of nervous people? You think truck drivers that are going to have auto self-driving 18-wheelers. You think those truck drivers are nervous? Dude, the voiceover people are just as nervous because this technology is getting out of hand. It's getting nuts. Let's
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, EJ says, "Oh well, have a good evening, Raj. Sorry if we missed you. But yeah, EJ says it'll be like writing a game soon. You won't need actors, and that's the thing too. Like you were saying, enough people will sell their voice profile, and it'll get to the point where they'll have enough voice profiles to where somebody with a good ear will be like, well, they're like a mix of, you know,
They'll be able
said
to
Matthew
morph 'em.
McConaughey and John Wayne, and they just mix them, and you got whoever's voice. Like it's not even a thing.
You're like, we're gonna do. I want Matthew McConaughey. Let's what's the hell's her name? Let's
Betty
do.
White.
I want Matthew McConaughey mixed with Amber Heard's British accent. That's what. Can we do? Can we pay? You're gonna have to pay extra for that, pal.
And then the guy's like, "Oh, you mean a number 6? Okay."
Oh boy. Speaking of number 6, I'm kind of getting hungry. Yes. Oh boy. What was this next one? And well, let's talk about now. Let's talk about the episode, man.
Okay.
You saw it, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you saw. Everybody here see it. Well, the episode started with Cobb Vanth out there. Like you see Cobb Vanth right away. It's like so many cool cameos or appearances. I guess they're not cameos if they're living in that universe, but it's like Cobb Vanth shows up, like cool, runs off the Spice Guys. How do you feel about Timothy Olyphant?
I love him and everything, but I will say, like, it's been a year since he was in Mandalorian, right? Or maybe 2 years or something.
Yeah, it was last year. It was.
He looks way older, man. He looked old, like all of a sudden. Still looked good, but he looked old.
He's like real skinny, dude. That guy's like really. That's like just.
Yeah, it made me wonder if he was sick or something. Like,
I thought that before. Like when I first saw him in the Boba Fett armor, I was like, "That's not Boba Fett," or you know what I mean? I was like, "Who the hell is this?" Because we didn't know. But I was like, "Whoa!" But he was such a badass, dude. He wasted those 3 guys, and it was like, "Okay, run along and leave the spice." And then I was like, "Whoa, dude, is this guy gonna get high on spice?" Then he just dumped it into the desert.
And and I was wondering that too. Like, so spice is basically drugs, right? I mean,
And from it's my understanding, spice, Jedi Master EJ can help me out with this, but it's my understanding spice can also be used as fuel for ships and drugs. If that's my, I think I'm right about that. But it basically is drugs. So he's like, yeah, this is a big tub of cocaine. This is worth more than your town, basically. You know what I mean? So he's like, whoa.
Well, and
hold on.
Yep. Yeah, watching the video or the show this week, kind of like earlier, when we were talking about, or maybe y'all talking about it on the small screen, but the Luke stuff was really cool, but honestly, I wanted to see more of that. Like, I wanted to see more of the newer characters. I wanted to see more of the Mandalorian stuff. Like when they would cut back to I love Grogu. It's always good to have him on camera, but like whenever they cut back to Luke and Grogu, I'd be like, I kind of don't want to watch this right now. I want to see more of the other stuff that's going on. So it was a really good episode, but I wanted to see that.
Yeah, it's like the old West. I want to watch
my universe, baby.
Yeah, I want to watch Tombstone right now. I don't want to watch a training Jedi training montage. I never thought that would come out of my mouth. I don't want to watch a Jedi training montage. What the? How blasphemy! Blasphemy! What's wrong with me? Yeah, well, it was awesome. And then we have Mando flies out and he's like, I've got to go somewhere. And he flies out, and gets out of there, and he lands on this planet. I'm like, okay, what's going on? All right, this is a beautiful looking planet, so we know we're going to see Luke Skywalker here. He likes to pick his vacation destinations to
Yeah. Oh yeah.
to move to, and then we see the little
If
mini
you lived on
satellite.
Tatooine, like, come on, you like,
Yeah, dude. If I
he's
grew
like,
up,
I'm not going to.
if I grew up in Death Valley, I think I would probably be going to some exotic place too on the water. But yeah, and then we see the little satellite dishes, and then it's R2. As soon as I saw R2, I got that same feeling as when I saw the X-wing fighter flying in the background on Mandalorian season 2, and I'm like, holy crap! Like we're gonna see some Luke Skywalker, which means we're gonna see Grogu, and which means we're probably gonna see some training, which instantly my anxiety built up because I'm like, how good is this going to look? How bad is this going to look? They hired that new guy. What's going to happen? And, what is it? Jedi, we got a comment. I saw my name, so I just stopped. Mando's the shit. I'm with Clint. I thought it would never say it. I want to see less Jedi training in it. Yeah. Well, we get that. We finally, and we see the Mandalorian, Din Djarin looking around for Luke, and he's hanging out with R2D2, and then you see these robot ants building a Jedi temple, and then you see R2 just shut himself down, which was a gangster move. R2 is like, all right, I'm not having this argument. I'm just gonna shut down. And
Yeah.
he knows how to
You know
do
who I
it.
am, dude? Do you know who I am? I'm R2 fucking D2. Like,
Dude, that's my move. He took R2 stole my move. I used to my buddy Chris Klink, you know Chris. He would
Yep.
laugh if he heard me say that because one time years ago, this is like probably 1998, but I was dating this girl that had annoyed me for some reason, and I was on the couch and they were all supposed to go bowling, the whole gang, and I didn't want to go with them, and I just all of a sudden pretended like I fell asleep in the chair. And she was like, "I know you're not asleep." She's hitting me and stuff, and I just pretended, and I let her leave with them. They all left, and I left me there. And that was, we broke up right after that. But yeah, basically, I played
Really?
possum. Yeah, I did that,
Really?
and I also did that in another weird, uncomfortable situation on tour in Europe. And I just said, "I don't know how to get out of this. I'm gonna pretend like I'm sleeping," and I just pretended to fall asleep, and then I needed to get out of the situation. Let's just say that there were some people that started getting a little frisky on a couch next to me where I was hanging out, and I'm like, what are they doing? Don't they know I'm here? And then I pretended to fall asleep, and then I had to get out of there, so I spilled a beer onto myself and was like, oh, I spilled my beer, and I ran away. And so my buddies all thought that was the funniest thing ever because I played possum. That's the move.
Everybody like, that guy Clint's cool, but he's got narcolepsy, so I don't know.
No, you're just weird and creep me out. So I pretended to fall asleep, and that's what R2 did in this. And I my hats off to you, R2. That's a gangster move. I know it well. So we finally see Luke. Luke is training Grogu, and here's the deal: they're hanging out, meditating. And I was talking about this a little earlier, but I felt like they were messing with us. They're like, okay, you ready to see Luke? Look how good he looks. But he's sitting there meditating and not moving his face to where you're like, oh, I see. They're just going to have him meditating the whole time so that we don't have
Make it
to act.
easy.
Yeah, make it easy. We don't actually have to see him move. And I was like, that's a pretty cheap way to kind of get out of having to do stuff. But the sun, everything looks good. It looks real. Okay, cool. And then next thing you know, he's real, doing real stuff and running and doing all. And I thought it was super cool. Like I thought that was super, super cool. The effects were so good, and we already went over all this, but it's like I can't express how impressed I am with what they did with Luke Skywalker in this last episode. And not to mention, I was like, this isn't even the final finale. Like, I can't believe this. This is the second. What's going to happen next week? I can't believe it. And I also liked him like helping Grogu remember. You know what I mean? That whole thing.
Yeah,
you
that
get
was cool.
the Order 66 flashback, and you're like, oh crap! And just the whole thing, like the whole thing was cool, man. Like the Ahsoka conversation with Luke, them, couple of Jedis, and or I guess Ahsoka's no longer a Jedi, but like hanging out and talking about training, and I don't know, it was cool.
So why is Ahsoka no longer a Jedi? That's confusing me a little bit.
Did you watch Clone Wars animated?
No, I restarted it, but I haven't gotten that far into it.
Well, I could tell you,
And
the Jedi
yeah,
are a bunch of scared. Me and Dustin, who some of you might have known, we've had him on before. I've had conversations how we're like, dude, the Jedi are freaking weak. Like they're weak. It's like we were we were saying it's like super religious people that are like
yeah,
scared to associate with secular things because they don't want to be polluted or something. Like the
yeah.
Jedi, like the Jedi are constantly like judging each other and like, you can't do this, you're gonna turn to the. They're so scared to turn to the dark side that they're they're like they don't trust each other. They judge each other, and it's sad. And they didn't trust her. They basically bombed the Jedi Temple. She got framed
Mhm.
for it. They didn't believe her, and then when they figured it out, it's like they're a bunch of like politicians or something, you know what I mean? And like then when they
Yeah,
figured out that it wasn't her, she was like, "F you guys! You guys didn't believe in me. I've put everything on the line for you guys, and like given 110% my whole life, like since I've been with y'all." And they didn't. They outed her and treated her like a piece of crap. And when it was all said and done, they're like, "We're sorry, Ahsoka. Come back." She was like, "F you guys! You showed your true colors. Jedi are a bunch of douchebags, basically." And
yeah.
and it's sad because the more you see of the Jedi, the fear makes them shitty. So it's like, and they're so
Huh.
worried about turning to the dark side that they judge and forbid people for, you can't have a relationship, you can't do this, you can't do that. Like they make all these rules because they're so worried about the dark side. Attachments, you can't, like it's fun.
Right. And well, I remember it. I don't know if it was the movies or one of the books maybe that I'd read. I thought
Yeah,
whenever Luke established the new Jedi Order, which so maybe it wasn't, but he realized a lot of that stuff was wrong and changed a lot of it. So I don't know why he's doing it with Grogu. The whole attachment thing, and
well,
he got rid of a lot of stuff.
it's
So
like,
so maybe I'm thinking of the books, which aren't canon anymore.
yeah,
But
it's like typically if you're dealing with just like Yoda, Yoda knows the right thing to do and is cool.
right,
And it's almost like hey dude, I'm not going to say anything. If we'll go this way. I'm not going to say anything cuz I'm Yoda and I know, but when you're talking about a Jedi Council, the Jedi Council has to do the Jedi religion
right,
or Jedi rules. So when it's in the face of all the Jedi, and that's why Qui-Gon Jinn, he didn't think like that.
yeah.
He was constantly getting in trouble. There's a lot of that, dude. There's a lot of the Jedi Council, and they all have to pretend and play the role constantly. But when you get some of them by themselves, they think a little differently. Um,
Okay, okay, yeah. That's what I was thinking. And yeah, I know the Jedi have those issues, and so so basically she's like a non-practicing Jedi or something. Like
Basically, she's a
she's
force
still
force
she's
user,
still
but
a Jedi. She's
yeah,
just she's not okay. Um,
she still has
yeah,
the
I
abilities, but it's like it's almost like your church. It's like church. It's like church.
yeah, yeah,
People that turn on somebody at church and they're like, screw you guys, I don't want to go to your church anymore. Doesn't mean they don't believe in God. It just means that they don't go to that church because
yeah,
they don't like those hypocrites or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I
yeah,
mean, well, even what is it in episode or A New Hope? Who is it? Han Solo calls it a wacky religion or whatever he calls it.
yeah.
Um, but in whenever we're talking about the ant bots, the main thing that I thought of was like, yep, that's this generation for you. Yoda would have Luke building that temple with the Force for practice, and they got ant bots out here, lazy new generation. Look at them.
Yeah, dude, Ray
Get
would have
with
had that temple built in 10 minutes.
yeah,
And
come
you see
on,
her
like
lifting rocks? Like, come on, man. Um, Yeah, I like to. They had Mark Hamill doing flips, and I really loved. I loved how Din Djarin didn't want to.
hokey religion. Yeah, not wacky.
He didn't want to mess up Grogu's training. He like loves the little guy, shows up with the armor, but when they're like, "Hey, dude, you're actually gonna hurt him by showing up," he's like, "Oh, I don't want to hurt him." Like, I mean, he was like, "I'll take one for the team, even though I can see him." but I'll like
Yeah.
it's like that's like real love, you know. And
Yeah, for sure.
it's funny because they have they got the lightsaber. You want Yoda's lightsaber, or do you want this Beskar? Somebody was calling it a Beskar sweater, but Beskar chainmail, you know, and armor. And um, I said it before, but I could tell you, dude. We all know he's going back with Din Djarin, dude. He's got the little compartment in the Naboo
Yeah.
starfighter, and it's happening.
But
So
well, and see, yeah, I agree with you, but like the thing is, they're already setting up Mandalorian season 3, so he's got to go jump in that lake, you know, or the waters of Mandalore
under the mines, yeah.
yeah, and like bring Grogu to that,
Yeah, dude.
I,
He's a force user who can heal. Who can
in
heal you.
Mandalore like ruined and like
Yeah, they're gonna go to
well,
Mandalore.
yeah.
They're gonna fight. They're gonna have this saber. They're gonna go to Mandalore. He's probably gonna kick everyone's ass. And he's gonna be the
Katie
badass.
Sackhoff's gonna try and kill him, you know, like to
Yeah,
take
but
the
then
fate,
she's
you
gonna
know?
be like, you know what, you deserve this, and Grogu is gonna help him use that saber, and as a team, they're gonna go get cleaned in the waters under in Mandalore. He's gonna get baptized by those waters, but I think he's gonna realize that being extreme like Jedi is not necessarily worth it, and there's a different way. His way is to not take his helmet off, maybe, but like, you know, I don't know. Maybe he's gonna go back to the ancient religion. I don't know.
Well, see, I was thinking, what I like. See, I don't know if they're gonna do this because it might actually be kind of or it just might not work. But like, I could see him letting Grogu stay. If he picks a lightsaber, he stays and trains, and then after, you know, so and then they do a time jump. It depends. All depends on how Boba Fett ends and stuff like that. But they do a time jump, and then he learns the Jedi ways of non-attachment and blah blah blah. And he's getting indoctrinated in this religion. Mando's still so focused on his religion, so he goes and does his own thing, you know, jumping in the waters and stuff. And then they like maybe he finds the little, you know, Beskar sweater and remembers, and then decides he wants to go back with Mando or see him again or whatever. And they both kind of come together and realize, like, you know, both parts of their super hyper fundamentalist religion are wrong, and, you know, kind of cast off some of those. But I don't know.
Exactly. Thank you, Jedi Master EJ. I almost said N2, but yeah, N1 Starfighter, which that thing is badass, by the way. I think that thing's awesome. Yeah, I think you're right, dude. I think they're gonna go as a team and figure this thing out and end up the saviors of Mandalore. What does that say? Beskar Mithril?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, so I'm excited, dude. I like also what I took some notes too. Boba Fett wasn't in this episode before. I explained that before. It's like people are having a cow about it. They revealed his backstory. What was he doing between the time he fell in the Sarlacc pit and now where we're at in this universe? Now we know, and I have a feeling he's gonna surf out in on a giant wave and like
well, and like I said, whether they have a Boba Fett season 2 or not, like they're gonna have a big battle. He's gonna run that outer rim, and he's gonna be the big boss. You know, in and out of the shows, even if they don't have a season 2 of it. You know, maybe it's just appearances. Until Thrawn comes, and then he's gonna be, you know, helping fight Thrawn for the outer rim, and then yeah, like it's gonna be good. But here's the deal: just like I said before, it's a 7-episode series, and it's episode 5 and 6. I get excited, and it's over. Like, same Disney did it to me again. Like, you know, the first ones are good, they're fine, but like right before the very end, you know, the rising action is not mid ground. It's like they wait too late.
Yeah, well, they told that we got our answers. What was Boba Fett up to? Now we know. Now he's going to help out, and this is going to go the big showdown in the OK Corral. I want to know if Thrawn's going to show up. That's what I really hope happens. I think I hope so. That'll be super cool. I really like
I
Thrawn
think they're
a lot.
saving him for Ahsoka Tano. She's
He's
getting her
going to
own
be
show,
in that,
right?
but I wonder if
Yeah.
they're like at least just mention him. I don't know.
Yeah,
But yeah,
he
but
might show up, but
but
they're gonna
Cad
let
Bane,
Boba Fett consolidate his power first. I think.
dude, Cad Bane, super awesome villain.
Yeah,
like
that was
super
great.
awesome. And again, I was talking about it earlier. Cad Bane doesn't even fear Jedi. You know what I mean? He goes in and just takes care of business. When they all know him, and he'd been hired by Boba Fett plenty of times. You know what I mean? And so he knows his way around Tatooine for sure.
Yeah,
I think it's super cool, and I definitely like him not telling anybody what his name is or anything. He's just like super badass, like the good, bad, and the ugly. Like Angel
yeah,
Eyes.
and he just walks out of the middle of the fucking desert like this is a badass move right there. Like, oh, well, there's the desert where everybody goes to die, and oh, here's somebody walking out of it.
And his voice sounded a little bit different. It was really good, but I really liked the original guy who did Cad Bane, and so I was like, it's almost the same. But it sound if it's the same guy, they did it differently. It did something different. It was kind of weird.
Well, and it looked, if that was computer, it looked like practical effects. I don't know, but it looked practical. It looked good. I mean, I know you are saying some people were complaining, but like just the the realism of it and the interaction of the face and stuff like that, like it looked like practical effects.
Dude, those shark's teeth didn't look practical. Man, you would cut your lips right off. Like, dude, how do you eat? Like those teeth were gnarly. I was like, ew. Yeah. I hope we see a fight scene to where he has to go and like just rip somebody's like jugular out or something with his teeth, because those teeth were brutal. Yeah, I'm with you, Jedi Master EJ. Super happy with this episode.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, and we're all super stoked. And so next week we're gonna have a major showdown. We're gonna have, and let's not forget, we're gonna have Boba Fett cruising in, riding a giant. I almost said Bantha. Rancor.
Rancor.
Yeah, I almost said Bantha, but yeah, riding a giant Rancor, kicking ass. And is Machete gonna help out? Like Machete doesn't fight with Cad Bane. Like
he already there's already a film of him having a laser or a light machete. You know, you remember it's on film.
Yeah, a huge ass Rancor. That's what Jedi Master EJ says. A huge ass Rancor. Did I say that wrong? So yeah, so we'll see what happens. You're also going to have the whole Freetown all going to jump on board now. Now that,
and he just winged him. I heard somebody was saying they killed him, but no, he just winged him.
he got. I was saying it earlier, dude. I guarantee you, he was going to show up with a sling, but his gun in the other hand, and then he was like, "Yeah, he tried to kill me." And somebody like Fennec Shand is going to say, "Trust me, if he wanted to kill you, you'd already be dead," or something. I guarantee you, somebody's going to say that. I promise you. That's Cad Bane. He doesn't miss. You know what I mean? They'll say some shit like that.
Yeah, I did like when he was like, "You should have kept your arm," or whatever. Like whatever he says.
You should have kept your arm. That sounded like Sean Connery. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I love that guy. He reminds me of it. To me, it sounds like Jeremy Irons trying to do an Old West accent. It's what his voice sounds like.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool. Let's move forward. Now
this was the first time in a while I enjoyed. Well, maybe last week too, but definitely enjoyed Boba Fett more than I enjoyed Peacemaker.
Yeah. Well, what do you think that this could mean for the future of Star Wars, gang? And
I think.
Did you like episode 6 of Boba Fett? What do you think will happen? Let us know in the comments. And speaking of Peacemaker, let us know your thoughts in the comments. I just said that. speaking of Peacemaker, there he is. Dude, this show is so crazy.
Yeah, this is the first time. I mean, and it was a good episode. I enjoyed it, but you could tell it's a lot of setup for what's coming. Something big's coming, but it was just kind of for me. Like it was all right. Every episode before this, I'm like, oh man, that's so good. Oh man, that's so good. And but you could just tell they're setting up a lot for what's coming with this
For
one,
the
and it was
next
just
one?
kind of yeah, for sure.
Dude, it looked this episode was pretty intense though. Like
Yeah,
all the cops and the entire jail
yeah.
could take it over.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and everybody gets taken over. And then his dad's getting all the Nazis together and like getting his suit on, and it's like everybody's coming after Peacemaker.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil too much. Apparently, Jedi Master EJ hasn't seen this show. Dude, quit fucking around.
Okay.
This
Sorry.
show, yeah, this show is fantastic. It's one of the best shows on TV right now.
For sure.
At first, you're like, this is a little juvenile. This is a little kid, like a little bit.
And it is. It is.
It is, but it also is awesome, and the story just starts unfolding, and you're like, oh, this isn't just Dick and Fart joke. This isn't just
Yeah.
What is that that Wiener animated thing that Seth Rogen did?
Oh,
the
I don't know. I
hot
know what
dog-
you're talking about.
hot dog
Yeah.
movie. This comes off like it's just supposed to be stupid like that, but it really is good. Like, it's good
Yeah.
writing. It's well thought out.
And every character gets deeper. Like not just Peacemaker, the main character, but every single character gets a deeper story arc. And what? It's like we're only at 5 or 6, episode 5 or 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
And they've already gotten deeper as characters. Like it's just and the story arc itself expanded already. Like 2 or 3 times. It's so good. Like you've got to get out there and check it out.
Hey, we like Dick and Fart jokes too. No, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, dude.
Yeah.
At first, I thought that's all it was, and I'm like, sometimes I need a little depth. You know what I mean? I like dumb comedy just as much as the next guy. Like, I love Danny McBride movies, Eastbound and Down. I love the what do you call it? Jeez, I'm having a brain fart. What is the show on Amazon with the superheroes? The Boys. I love The Boys. I love Seth Rogen stuff. Like, I like dumb 13-year-old level Dick and Fart joke movies and TV shows. But this one starts out like that, and then all of a sudden it blossoms like a flower, and it just gets better and better, and the characters develop to where it's like, these characters have feelings. You feel for the characters. They have deep motivations, and there's just weird things that like weird treasures inside these characters that you wouldn't expect, and then all of a sudden there's a fart joke right when they're getting like serious, or right when you're starting to have an emotion based on what you're watching. Then it's like, and then you're like, ah, ha, ha. It's because you catch off guard, so you'll love it.
It was good. Yeah, one of my favorite lines was like, well, what is it? What do they say? So like, oh, she was our queen. Well, how did you know it was a she? Well, it's like, because she had a vagina. And he's like, well, what was her name? Well, unlike humans, we don't name our genitalia. No, the queen's name.
Yeah, that, and also like when it was like knock once and knock twice, once yes and twice for no, and vigilante is like hilarious.
What's your favorite color?
Eagly attacking the cops when they were coming after him.
Yeah,
He's got a pet eagle named Eagly, and he's just awesome. So yeah, if you haven't watched the show, watch it. Next week's gonna be awesome. We'll talk more about that, but that's super exciting.
And so I've been, as y'all know, I'd been watching. I started watching Daredevil, and it was awesome. Then I started watching Jessica Jones with my wife, and she's hooked. So I'm gonna rewatch Daredevil with her. Like we finished Jessica Jones season 1 today. Now the kill of Kilgrave was kind of anticlimactic, but other than that, it was awesome. And so we're gonna go back and watch them all in order. or rewatch Daredevil because that one came first. But one thing that's interesting is so you and I talking about shows like this, we kind of on the same wavelength. Sometimes we disagree, but it's kind of our wheelhouse. So we're like, oh, this is coming. Yeah, you're right. That's probably coming. Or well, yeah, it's coming, but it might look this way. Watching it with so Alias was one of the comics that I got my wife into comics with. Being a comic book nerd, she was not in that realm, but I gave her Alias, and she was like, oh, so she's read the comics. And she doesn't remember a lot, but watching the show with her, she has this completely different sense of what's going to happen. So, if you haven't seen Alien or Jessica Jones, I won't spoil anything, even though it's pretty old. But there's a story arc where the main character Kilgrave impregnates this young lady, by basically raping her because he has mind control. She doesn't want it, so she has an abortion. However you feel about that, I don't care. But they take the fetus. The lawyer takes the fetus because she wants to understand how Kilgrave's power works. And I was kind of like thinking, basically along the lines of what happened in the show. Like, okay, that's why she did it, and blah blah blah. Well, after that episode, we're watching the next episode, and the lawyer is also getting a divorce, and she wants Jessica Jones to, strong arm her ex-wife to sign the papers. And so Jessica Jones is kind of going to do that. And the show's going, and my wife's like, yeah, there she goes. She's going to go put that dead fetus on her doorstep. And I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? She's like, yeah, that's why that lawyer kept it. She's going to put that fetus in his eye. I was like,
You're like,
that's not
"No."
going to, I haven't seen this show, but that's not going to happen. She was like, why did she keep it then? And I'm like, I was like, I've got my own ideas, but that, how
Curtis,
did you get from here to there?
I just want to tell you right now, don't ever cross your wife. Just based on that alone, don't ever cross your wife, dude. Just do what she says.
Yeah, well, yes, that's.
Or you're
just
gonna end
good.
up with a fetus on your doorstep. I'm just saying.
Like I was
Just
like,
saying.
And she was like, I don't know. I think she's gonna stick that on her doorstep. Okay.
Yikes.
I mean, a dead horse head in your bed is pretty scary, but a dead fetus on your doorstep is probably even worse.
Yeah, that's.
And spoiler alert, it didn't happen.
That's right. Listen to me, dude. Don't cross the wife ever. Oh man, hey, what were you saying about? You sent me some messages. I didn't have time to prep any more stuff on here. But were you saying Leatherface was another possibility in the Moon Knight show, or were you just saying,
No.
hey, there's some Moon Knight news or Leatherface news? Because I know there's also, and we are all about the streaming here, and there is some streaming action going on. Apparently, we're gonna have a Netflix is gonna have a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's actually what made me think. So I was looking through my Moon Knight comics, and I pulled one up where basically the cover makes it look like Moon Knight is fighting Leatherface. So Moon Knight fights a lot of serial killers too. So it looks like he's going to fight Leatherface. It's this guy who looks like he's got a leather, human face on. He's holding a chainsaw, and it says Chainsaw. It ends up just being this biker named Chainsaw that he fights. But so I sent Clint that picture. But then that reminded me that the trailer for Texas Chainsaw Massacre for Netflix came out Monday, and so I'd finally watched that. And yeah, it looks good. Looks like they're going down the same road as Halloween and Halloween Kills and all that stuff, where the original story happened, and then the same girl, it's not the same actress, but the same girl from the original that escaped is now hunting Leatherface to kill him, and Leatherface is wrecking shop. But then Filoni shows up and starts just kicking some Leatherface ass. But it looks pretty good. With any of the Texas Chainsaw sequels, it's always hit or miss, but I'm gonna watch it regardless.
Did
So.
you care for the Rob Zombie version?
No, yeah. Well, he made a version of Halloween. I'm surprised he hasn't
He
made him
didn't do
for
it. He didn't
no.
do it. He's the guy
Every
that you
he's
would think he
copied. Yeah, he's copied it in every movie he has. He's copied the formula, but he's never remade it.
he's got that like horror redneck thing going on. I can't. I'm. That's hilarious. I haven't seen
Yeah,
all of his movies.
exactly.
I've only seen House of a Thousand Corpses. So I'm kind of mind blown. In my mind, there was a Texas Chainsaw Massacre done with raw. Why hasn't this happened yet?
Exactly. It doesn't make
What
any
the?
sense.
It's
Like,
a no
that's
brainer.
all of his movies. Yeah.
It's a
And
no brainer. How is this possible?
yeah, no, they haven't done it. Yeah, that's still a mystery. And yet he's doing the Munsters, because that makes sense. But Texas Chainsaw, no, keep that one away from him. Like I don't get it.
Yeah, guys, there's a video about Rob Zombie doing the Munsters on this channel. So if you get bored, go look through my videos and you can watch that. Exciting. Hell yeah, man! How exciting. What other news is there? There's other Marvel news. I know it. Marvel,
Oh,
DC.
absolutely there
There's so much
is.
stuff.
Uh well, here's this one.
While you're
eh,
pulling that up,
yep.
I'll ask the gang just to take a little vote. We're rebranding this channel, so I'm trying to figure out what to call this thing. I had Streamaholics is one. Streamoholics. What's another one? I had Stream Warriors, like Dream Warriors from Nightmare on Elm Street. What's another one I have? A Cinema Gab. I actually own that website and Stream Holics. Yeah, so right now we're looking like one of those, and I'm gonna rebrand this show that Curtis and I do, where we talk about all this news. And I don't know if you noticed, I was trying to up the production value on this. Some of these are hits and misses, and I'm basically getting it all dialed in so that we can do this show and it looks good and feels good. We're gonna get rid of the background that we're using right now. I want to get something that's our own cave. We won't always be in the Falcon, but if we're talking about Star Wars stuff, we might hop into the Falcon. If we're talking about Batman stuff, you might catch us in the Bat Cave, things like that. I like to theme stuff and make it fun, like old Filoni here hanging out with us and whatnot. So we want to keep this thing fun. So let's see. What do we got? Streamaholics. If you like that, that's one. You guys give me a vote. If you like Stream Warriors, that's two. And then if you like Cinema Gab, that's three. So let us know what you think in the comments. So Streamaholics is one. Stream Warriors is two. Oh, and I have some graphics. These are just makeshift, but I think the visual cue will be helpful. So let me see here. There's one. This will be fun. I like that we're just hanging out, talking to the gang now.
Feloniacs.
Boom! I'm Streamaholics. That's interesting. And then, I also did this cool thing too. Check this out. Boom. Wait for it. Stream Warriors. I was just playing around. I didn't get to darken underneath that TV yet. I was just playing with that. Stream Warriors. So that's pretty cool. And then we had, I was getting some little logos like that and stuff that I was playing with. Cinema Gab sounds real pro. And I have ambitions of one of these days maybe doing a website where I write articles and stuff. or have friends that write articles write with me. Stream Warriors, Baker Boys Cinema. I really like the Baker Boys Cinema better. Stream Warriors. Let's see here. Curtis, what do you think about all this stuff?
I like them all, man. Stream Warriors, and Streamaholics. I like probably the best out of those.
Streamaholics.
Yeah, I like that. I like that original logo that you sent. Maybe put the eye in the middle of that circle.
Oh, that's good. That's a good idea. So it's playing around with that. But an eye in the middle of that could be real cool. Let's see what this looks like here. Boom. Cinema Gab. That's it. Other one, but this one seems a little bit too pro. Like I think we're hanging out and having fun, and I like it to be a little bit silly. You know what I mean? There's something about I like something about this that's just fun. You know what I mean? Like boom. And I like keeping that fun vibe, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. We're still playing with the stuff, and I'm gonna be talking to a buddy who's a graphic arts designer who's gonna help me with some of the stuff. But we always appreciate your input, and so that's why I'm asking. So let's see here. Show screens, buddy. I'm trying to get back to Filoniville. Boom.
Yeah. And yeah, so whenever we were looking through the news the other day, I came upon this article. It says Marvel's Secret Invasion cast, release date, and trailer. And it says who's in Marvel's Secret Invasion? Sam Jackson, who we already knew. He's been in every. Ben Mendelsohn as Talos, who was the Skrull in a couple of the movies. Colby Smulders as Maria Hill, who's, we already know who's going to be in there. Olivia Colman, Emilia Clarke, and some other people. And then it says, when is the release date? And then it says, Secret Invasion is on the list of releases for this year. This could suggest that the series may not hit streaming platform until as late as 2023. So that's not a release date. It's not. It's just saying, it might be next year. And then it says, the trailer, Marvel Secret Invasion trailer. It says, as the Marvel Secret Invasion team have only just begun filming, there's no trailer for fans to pine over just yet. Keep checking, though. And it's like, that's not news. How does that qualify as news?
That's why I'm going to start writing. There's a lot of news that's not news. That's why I'm going to start writing, like doing articles. I was like, dude, I can write better articles than that. I'm going to have
you got my click. You win.
Yeah.
You got my click, but that's not fair. You didn't tell me anything.
I'm going to have a Secret Invasion video. It's going to be a bunch of people just walking around in New York City doing exactly what a bunch of normal people walking around in New York City would do, and be like, Secret Invasion. Only on Disney Plus. Yeah, nobody knows that they're aliens except them.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like site under construction, or like
exactly.
I could do that. I could write an article, and it's like, the new freaking Godzilla movie is coming out at some point in the future. The trailer will also be coming soon. You know who's going to be starring in it? The same people that were in the last one. Like that doesn't fucking tell me anything. That's cheating. But they got my click several times now because I brought it back up to talk about it.
Yeah, dude, I'll have to just I'll have to write some articles I'll write some articles for small screen. Be like, hey, I wrote they'll be like, dude, you're not. You go back to writing songs, bro. Go back to writing songs.
Scat you away with you.
Dude, we're getting all kinds of weird bots. If you look at the comments, it's hilarious. These are weird bots. Yeah, Man of Steel 2 is coming in 25 years. You know, it'll be Henry Cavill's voice profile and deepfake that Zack Snyder will be using. It'll be good times.
Well, and that's the thing. You could write the same article for Rebel Moon right now. It's like starring that lady that you just said, and then it's like Sophia Boutella, and then it's like release date maybe 2023. Trailer's not out yet. We'll let you know when it comes out. Like it's like that's not an article. Like that doesn't click here so we can tell you what we don't know.
I'm gonna just start writing these articles. Alien series coming soon to Netflix. What do we know about this? Nothing.
This will evolve.
Has not begun filming quite yet. We will keep you posted on further details about the filming. Cast not quite cast yet, but we hear that they will have some actors in this film.
Yes, there will be many portrayals in this upcoming, Netflix series. Like, oh, really? Oh, wow.
It's so interesting. We'll see how it goes. Well, shoot, man. I think that's it for us now, man. I think we've run the gambit.
Yep. Yeah,
Looking
I
through,
think like Ric Flair's marriage, we're done.
Yeah, but you know what?
Hey-o!
Yeah, but what we didn't do is, guys, like, share, subscribe, tell your homies about us. Let them know that we have a YouTube channel, and they should check it out. And I want to do a special shout. Hey, Filoni's back. Shout out to the Patreons. If you want to help support the show, you can hit us there. We would appreciate it. And check me out on social media. If you want to contact me, Curtis doesn't social media much, but if you want to social media me, you can hit me up. I'm the OG Clint Baker. The OG Clint Baker at Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also on Facebook, so check that out. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Curtis, you got any farewells for the gang?
I do have the family has their first video up on Bakertown on YouTube. If you want to click there, you can check it out. It's my son playing Little Nightmares and commenting on it, and it's interesting to say the least.
Hell yeah,
It's about
Baker.
20 minutes. Yeah, it's, like his if you watch it, please like his video, and he'll love that.
Hell yeah, Bakertown. I'm going to go check that out right now. And guys, make sure you click a subscribe on that. And if you're watching this video now and you haven't subscribed to our channel, hit the subscribe button. But yeah, man, I'm excited.
He'd be so happy if he saw a bunch of subscribers like, oh my God.
Dude, Bakertown. Yeah. It's on. Once you hit 100 subscribers, you can change your URL to youtube.com/Bakertown or whatever you choose. So that'll be really cool. You gotta have 100 subscribers first. So we got to do our best to get you there. So guys, go subscribe to Bakertown. So yeah. Oh, we were talking about.
You can search Conan Plays Little Nightmares and it'll probably pop up. But sorry.
Before we go, I gotta
play a video game.
I got to. We've had people suggesting we call this show the Bakery.
Okay, I can see that. That works.
The Bakery. Here's what happens when you do that. If we choose to do the Bakery, it's going to be this.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, and it'll be. And when Raj or somebody says something we don't care for, Curtis is going to say, "Get the hell out of my kitchen!" Hell yeah. The Bakery, only on YouTube. Hell yeah, guys. Well, thanks again, and we will see you guys next week on Stream vs. Baker. Right here.